everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, I had planned to sit down with you guys and look through this Batman comics cover art, and it's really cool. And I wanted to go through it with you guys, but before I made this video, I was sat thinking about how often I race through life, how often I'm desperate to get to the next thing, how scared I am that I'm not going to get the next thing done, how worried I am that I'm letting people down, how often I feel like I need to be three things at once, probably even more than that. And so I want to make this video about that. That's what I want to do. Also, my chair's being really creaky, which is great. Not much I can do. Anyway, I think more recently I have finally found more balance in my life. And the reason for that is that I have took the time to assess what I actually want to do and what I feel like I have to do. I think one such example is that phone time. I think a lot of us have this, right? I sit scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. In some apps, I can't really help it. I have Twitter to keep up with news about games coming out or about new movies, new trailers, new stuff like that. So Twitter, I can't really help. LinkedIn can't really help for work. All that type of stuff. There's certain ones you can't help. TikTok because of content creation. But I would find myself on Instagram, even though I don't really care for the app. Looking through it, gone. I'd find myself playing mobile games that really had no impact on my life other than drawing time away. Gone. I kept one actually, which was Marvel Strike Force, but that's slightly emotionally charged because I've had that game since it came out on my phone, and I've done a lot in it. I've met a lot of people through that game. That one's a little bit different, but anything that I could get rid of, I did. And it's not just mobile time either. It's giving time to things that I don't love, or giving too much time to the things that I feel I could maybe do less of. What I mean is, for example, I do a lot of streaming, gaming streaming, and I think I do that pretty well, consistently, etc. But the issue is, I think I was getting to a point where I hit critical mass, and I wanted to do it so much that it became, and that's a good thing, right? Obviously it's good to have a hobby that you love, but I wasn't doing other things. I wasn't reading, I wasn't writing. I have a D&D campaign that's coming up. Well, it's Marvel Multiverse, but I've got that coming up. I need to plan for that. I want more social time to sit with friends and get to know them and play games off of stream. And why this all came about was because I had 3 weeks off work, two that were annual leave, and then an extra week and a bit that was because of my eye surgery, which, by the way, of course, is okay. I should actually be wearing my glasses right now, which are just to the side of me, but I'm not picking them up now because I'll make loads of noise and it'll be really bad for the video. Anyway, so I had that time, and in that time, I got to be me for the first time in years. And what I mean by that is not that I didn't have glimpses of that at many other points, but for 2 weeks I got to do what I loved gaming wise. And then the week after, because I couldn't game, I was finding other things that I enjoyed, or rediscovered things that I enjoyed. chair is really creaky, by the way. Sorry. Maybe you like it. I don't know. I don't. It's really annoying me. Anyway, ASMR. We've got to be positive. Let's be positive. Let's let that go. Anyway. In that third week, because I couldn't stream, because A, morally, even if I could stream, I wasn't going to, and B, because obviously literally I couldn't see, morally, because I was off work and it felt unfair. That's what I meant by that, to clarify. I listened to audiobooks. I watched things that I hadn't, tried to watch them as best I could, more listen to them that I hadn't in a while. I thought about spending time with friends. I was sitting, talking to people. It felt like a rejuvenation. It felt like coming back to things that I had so aspired to do years ago. Today, for example, I managed to hash out like a whole 2-3 pages of planning for my first ever DMing session of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, which I think I've done a little bit of an unboxing on the channel actually. But yeah, so I got to do that, which was really fun because I never got to do that before. I hadn't had the time. Now, because I'm trying to put more focus on a little bit of everything rather than a lot of bit of one thing, it feels great. Even the shelf you guys will see behind me, it's got the same stuff on it as it did before, but it's organised in a way where I can A, use it, and B, still looks great, and it decluttered my mind on so many levels. And I think that's what this video was about. That yeah, not everyone's going to get those 3 weeks. I hadn't had 3 weeks to myself like that in maybe 5 years, I think. Because even when I was off work, I was then so often when I'm off work, I make content creation my full-time job that week, if that makes sense. I'll do 10 hours of streaming a day or whatever, and this time I just had to stop. I was basically I couldn't do anything else, and that felt liberating in a way that I intend to keep up with. I think it was a perfect storm in so many ways because I was also getting into the Halo franchise at that point, and I've since read, I'm into the 3rd Halo book in a month. I'm getting back into my audiobooks again, and like I said, I am planning, DMing for TTRPG. I can't say that, never can say that. I redid my shelves. I gained a new positive attitude that I think I really can push forward going forward. It's a really good time for me right now to reflect and learn that I've grown and see myself in a better light. And I think that's what I'm trying to hopefully convey to you guys, that yeah, you might not get 3 weeks to reflect. That's very lucky. I feel very privileged to have had that. Obviously not for the surgery, but the enlightenment that kind of came with that. But if you get that moment to reflect, take it. Think about what you're missing. Think about what you care about. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day actually, and saying that something that matters to me a lot now, that maybe I hadn't quite noticed as much before, is that now, yeah, I'm on this content creation journey still. Yes, I would like to succeed here on my podcast, in my gaming sphere, but what really matters and does matter to me is I've gained friends that are across this whole journey. Let's start that sentence again. Across this whole content creation journey, I've gained friends. I've gained people who genuinely want to see me and genuinely want to know what's going on with me, be involved with me, be actively engaged in the things I'm doing. That's my phone. That is real. That's tangible. If 10 people read or watch or listen to what you do, you've won in a way, right? Because you cut through for those 10 people. And that goes back to why I made I was going to say For What It's Nerd, which is my podcast, which is true, but that's why I made Merman Mythos. I saw people making ASMR, specifically Angel on My Shoulder, which was like the final inspiration for me to actually start the channel, and break free of like the concern about doing it. I saw people making content to make people feel better. And all my content is that in a way, right? Because my gaming is about making people laugh. My podcast is about making people think critically and hopefully to enjoy things that I've enjoyed. This is about helping people heal or think or come to terms with something or know there's someone out there that's like them. Because I didn't have that until recently. Not in the way that mattered. And yeah, I guess that's why I'm trying to say in this one that there will be a time where you get to reflect. Maybe not right now. I really wish that phone would go away. I'm just going to move it. 1 second. We're just going to... Why is everything popping off? I'm hoping that putting on my lap will be better. We don't know. Who knows? If it woke you up, I'm sorry. Typical that I get like all these, and like no one will message me all day, and then as soon as I start an ASMR recording. Anyway, if you get that moment to reflect, if you get that moment to realize who you are, or what you need, or what you want, and you can visualize and move towards it, it's not going to be easy. Like I think I've always said on this channel, life is difficult and life is, and this is going to sound really bad, but life is pain. But that's what makes it worth doing. Because if everything was easy, and if we got it all at once, and do you know what? I think I've made this reference before. Sorry, I'm jumping into a million different things, but this is important, I think. I always think, and I've never actually watched the show, but I always think of this clip of Malcolm in the Middle. And I think it's the end of the show, like the finale. And they talk about the fact that he doesn't get to have it easy, he doesn't get to go and get the good job. And then, like, become basically, an asshole. Because he has to go about things the hard way to get there, so when he finally, and his parents basically believe he'll become president one day. And when he does, because he's been through the hardship, he'll know what it feels for all the people who he will actually impact. And I think that's why, or at least I personally believe, I've had the things to deal with that I've had to deal with, so that I can do this, so I can talk to people and make people laugh and make people feel better and make people have to deal with what I went through less. I've had a lot of miserable times in my life. A lot of it self-inflicted even. I'm not even going to say that's like... I'm not even going to say that like bad things happen to me, because really, I've had a good life so far. I'm not dying tomorrow, to clarify, because that sounds like I'm, ready to go. I'm not by a long shot. I've had a good life so far. I genuinely understand that I am very privileged as a person. I think that's a lot more than some people can say, for sure. But with that comes its own set of responsibilities. Was I too coddled? Was I unable to make decisions because it was being made for me? Was I, we can go on and go on. It's all eventualities and it's all impossibilities to know anyway. So what I'm trying to say is that I have been in those bad situations, and I don't feel like I've given back much in my life. Again, because of the situations that I've been in my life so far. And so I guess that's why I do try to entertain, try to help people reflect, to help people think critically. Because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to try and give something back. And that goes into the sort of the argument that there's no deed that's actually selfless, because even when you're doing something selfless, it's sort of selfish because you like it. You like doing it, you feel good about it. I don't really love that argument because I think feeling good about something that is good is fine. By definition, it is selfish, I suppose, or somewhat. But anyway, what I'm trying to say again is that finding yourself, finding what you care about, what you feel called to, is not just like a religious thing. A lot of people make it out like it's only a thing that you find if you follow God. And I don't necessarily follow God. I don't necessarily mean that in a way of like, I went to a Catholic school, I've learned all of those beliefs. I don't dismiss a lot of those teachings in that, there can be some good stuff in there. Do I think religion has harmed the world in some other ways? Yeah. It's two sides, like anything. But I don't necessarily follow a religion. That doesn't mean I can't respect the fact that there might be something out there, like a higher calling. Again, not God necessarily, but kindness, love, humanity. Life is pain, but can we ease it for people? So I guess what I'm saying is, overall, it's a reaffirmation, reaffirming to myself, and maybe you guys to yourselves as well, that there's so much to live for and so much to do and so much to enjoy. But you have to face it. And you have to take care of yourself. And you have to love yourself. And you have to understand yourself. And sometimes that takes a step back first. So tonight, before I recorded this, I had a little self-care. I had a nice long bath, which was really nice. Had a little relax, got myself ready, and I made this video. And after this, I am doing nothing drastic, nothing major, because my life doesn't need to be a schedule. My life is more than that. My life should have purpose, not an itinerary. I hope at least something I've said resonates with people out there, even just one person. And I hope you find your moment. Or maybe this is your moment. Or if not, then at least you found it relaxing. Or if not even that, then you can respect my viewpoint. Maybe. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying at the end of the day is I'm happy currently. We'll see how long it lasts. But I'm happy currently. And my hope for you guys is that you continue to be happy. Or find your happiness also. So, with that said, and my little goodwill put out into the world for this week, I will be back next week to do more stuff. Maybe the Batman book. Maybe we'll go back to reading The Wizard of Oz, because I just watched Wicked for good. Didn't love it. But yeah, that feels like a project I should go back to. Not even a project. An interest. That'll be a better word. So, let's finish this by saying that let's give ourselves space this week. Let's give ourselves time to process and breathe and recognize ourselves in the mirror. And with that, thank you guys for listening. I have also tried, by the way, the mic gain a little higher. If the background noise annoys you, let me know. I might turn it back down. I don't know if it's annoying me or not. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. But we tried it. We tested it. We did our thing. It sounds louder, by the way, doesn't it? It sounds like it's gotten louder throughout the video. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there before I start rambling. Bye, guys.